Hey everybody, welcome to House of White presents Squirrel and Friends. This is Squirrel. You may know me as Sharon Lewis, and today I have Robin with me. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
What are we talking about today, Robin?
Well, we are talking about coming out of the closet. Now, don't
Oh.
laugh at me. I'm talking about the tarot closet. So,
And what do you mean by that? I know, but our listeners might not.
well, there are some of us who are either new to the tarot or have been working with the tarot for a long time who are afraid to let other people know that this is what they do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I think that's because there are so many negative connotations related to the tarot and tarot readers. We're seen as charlatans and hoaxes and the
Satanists.
Satanists, exactly, all of that, right? And so, in association with all of those external opinions, we can become afraid or intimidated to let people know that this is what we do, this is what we love, and that we do it to help people. It's not associated with a religion. It's associated with our need to express ourselves and help people um, the best way that we can.
Oh, I really like the way you put that, 'cause that's what we need to do is let people know what we do so we can diminish that terrible reputation that tarot readers have or divination has.
Right.
So apparently I know that you've had some issues coming out of your closet. What was holding you back personally, do you think?
Well, there was actually some embarrassment. I had pictured in my mind these huge reactions from people, and I had intimidated my own self. We look at this. Um, there's a lot of different times in our lives where we think the outcome is going to be much worse than what it actually is, and that's what I had done to myself. I just talked myself into this going to be a great big deal, thank goodness it wasn't.
So okay, you know that it wasn't now, and you had talked yourself into fear and
Yes.
embarrassment. I like that you said that you were embarrassed. What did you do? How did you get past it? How did you find the courage? And I do see it as courage to come out and say, "Hey, I'm a tarot reader." What did you do, Robin?
Well, I work in a higher education, and there's just this big dogma over higher education. I like to think of them as all academic pompous asses. But, in the beginning of the day, we all put our shoes on one at a time. And there was an event. But, even before that, it was even before that. So let me back up a little bit. Even before that, I was in a large group of friends. We do a canoe trip every year. And don't let me try to fool you, because trust me, these are acquaintances, not actually friends. We see each other once a year, and it's a large group, and they all know I'm weird anyways. But I do let my freak flag fly, let me tell you. But, so I went to this canoe trip, as we do every year, and I said, hey, I have my tarot cards. If anybody is willing to let me practice on them. And it was met with immediate excitement. Um, I had I had a huge line all night long. It didn't get to enjoy my evening as I typically would. Drinking some booze, sitting by the fire, that type of thing. I enjoyed it in a totally different way and was able to make a change in a few people's lives. Made people cry, made people happy, reaffirmed their own beliefs. So that was very exciting. And so that was
And
a first.
brave.
And yeah, you're like, okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, and you just let it spit out of your mouth, and it was okay. It was okay. So that was my coming out of my personal world closet. And then I went ahead and not too long after that jumped out of my professional tarot closet and it did a a table. It was a table of vendors in a student event. And there were just hundreds and hundreds of students and hundreds of fellow employees. And I was terrified, terrified. I
Did you
set
do
my table
anything?
all up. Hmm?
Did
Go
you
ahead.
do anything to prepare for it at all?
I did. Well, I'm a strong believer in meditation, and I meditated the night before. I meditated before I set up my table in my car with all my equipment, and I'm just, breathing heavy, sweating at the palms, and saying it's going to be okay.
That's if I recall, we did a reading in group on how you could do this.
Yeah,
Is that correct recall?
it did. Yeah, we certainly did. And unfortunately, my emotions overshadowed the reading, so I couldn't tell you what the reading said.
The one thing I loved was the secrets, and it was the star. It was yeah, and how we were all telling you, even the universe was seeing you as the star, and you needed to shine.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it was all about trusting yourself and trusting the people around you, and the group told you it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah.
So how did it go?
Well, honestly, it went very well. I started out, after all the tables are getting set up, and I put out my cloth, and I had some of my crystals because I thought it might be windy, and I was using them to hold down the cards. And people are looking by, and I have my little sign, and people are walking by and just kind of giving me a glance and not quite knowing what to do. Well, what I did, brave heart that I am, I grabbed one of our executive directors, and I said, "Hey, come on over here. Have you ever had your cards read before?" And he was like, "No, I haven't." I said, "Well, have a seat. Let's see what happens."
Oh.
Yeah, and then that reading was honestly not my best reading, to tell you the truth. I was so nervous.
Oh.
Oh my God, even my voice was shaking a little bit. But he was not looking at me with judgment, and his body language was geared towards me. He was listening to what I was saying, and I got to become engaged in the conversation. And then once he got up from the table, I had one after another, after another, after another sit down.
Oh, so you just had to have that one person break the ice for you.
Yes.
Is anybody looking at you any differently now? Any of your coworkers, any of those students, do they look at you and like do that, funny looking evil eye at you?
you know, there were a couple of readings that got very, very personal, and we're sitting next to another table, and the people at the next table can hear. Um, those people have been a little offish. I think that just the touching on the private matters they were so surprised. They look at me, they smile and they wave, but they don't come over and talk to me. But I have students that still, they see me from across campus and they're like, hey.
Right. So it's really just whether somebody wants you in their personal business or not. That's the hard
Right.
thing because wow, I've done some readings and then people think, "Oh God, she can read my mind." No, dude, I read my cards.
Right. I read the cards. It's all in the cards, man. It's all in the cards.
If you had the opportunity to go back and not, to make that choice, to come out of that closet or not come out of the closet, what would you do?
I would come out of the closet because I've had other employees now ask me, "Do you have your cards with you? You got a minute? Can we do a reading? That would be great. I've never had my cards read." And then I had a lady say she's never had good luck. She's never gotten a good reading, and I said, as soon as you're ready, I'm up for that. Let's see what I can come up with, what I can help you with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would come out of the closet again. Absolutely come out of the closet again, because sometimes I think people close themselves in and they stay under the issues that they refuse to identify. When they finally come to a complete stranger that can tell them what they already know about themselves, and then take that and apply it to what they're not recognizing, bring it out into the open, it's very, very healing, and I would do it again. Absolutely do it again.
How has it affected your self-confidence and your ability to read?
Tremendously. I was like, I called you. I'm like, holy crap, Sharon. These people, they like me. They like me.
They really like me.
They do. And it works. And I didn't, I wasn't making anything up. I just read what I saw and spoke from my heart, and I think that it's helpful. I really think it's helpful.
Oh my gosh, I wish everybody could come out of the closet just right now. I wish, but well, first of all, not everybody is is as brave as you. You did. You jumped in with both feet. You made up your mind and you said, I'm doing it, and you did it with a bang.
Mm, yeah,
But
brave or stupid, one or the other, right?
I think you're brave. What other ways? I mean, what what other ways do you think it can make that a possibility?
Mm. Instead of just jumping just 2 feet forward, huh?
I think 2 feet forward that's kind of like the Band-Aid issue to me. Rip it off real fast and it makes it a lot less painless.
It really
But
does. It doesn't hurt as long, right? You just,
right.
you just get it done. I think, there are different ways that you could go about doing this. And I think the first thing, honestly, would be to practice. So say you're reading and you're doing a practice reading. The very first thing I would suggest is don't read that in your head. I want you to read it out loud.
Yeah.
Read it out loud, maybe look in a mirror. So read out loud, look in the mirror, and then grab a family member, one that you think wouldn't be so judgmental. Start talking to them about it. Slowly work your way into feeling comfortable enough to talk to your friends about it.
I
So,
I've
yeah,
found more people are curious than judgmental.
they are so curious. Some people, honestly, I have to say, out of the hundreds of people that I've talked to at this point on this journey, maybe two. And the one lady I mentioned already was like, nah, it's just baloney. But everybody else is like, really? You know how to do that? And I'm like, yeah,
The
yeah.
the worst thing is when you come up against that judgment. A lot of people will tell you, not a lot of people, but I've heard stories of people talking about how it's satanistic or evil or baloney. And that stings, but it's when we let ourselves believe that. When we know, when you're doing a reading and you just changed somebody's life. You helped them in so many ways. And you turn around and somebody says, it's baloney. You're a con artist. Using those bad connotations of tarot. And this is easier said than done. You let them have their opinion. Let them have their opinion, but don't let it change yours. Don't let some asshole's opinion change that good feeling that you can have of yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You have to believe in yourself. And this is one of the things that I thought that the tarot has been a good tool for my own self confidence in my opinion, in my ability to see.
Mm-hmm.
In my ability to read people in general and to relate to people, communicate to people. The tarot has been a wonderful tool for all of those things.
Yep.
And the one thing to remember is the tarot is not a religion. Should, however, anybody bring up religion, it's like, hey, looky here. We have a cross.
Look
We
at
have,
this Ace of Cups. Is that communion or is that communion?
right. We have a pope. La la la. You know, it's like
Right.
religion. There are some religious aspects in the pictures, but tarot itself is not a religion, and they're they're just cards with pictures on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, one more thing. And I know there are some people out there, and this is very distressing to me because there are Bible Belt areas and there are some really ignorant people out there. There are some readers, and I know some that don't have the opportunity to come out of the closet because their family is so against them reading or their area they live in. It's like I do have one friend, I'm not going to mention any names, that she's terrified to tell anybody that she does the tarot because she's currently divorced and her husband will use that as leverage to take away her children. And the area they live in, he quite possibly could. That's
Mhm.
horrible.
That is terrifying, and understandably so. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Well, as I stated before, I think a good beginning is to do it out loud to yourself, to tell yourself it's perfectly fine. But if you're not able in your area to find other people with similar interests, then, honestly, I would suggest the House of White. There are groups that we have that you can join. You can get study buddies and you can talk to dozens of people at the same time and go over the readings together. They encourage you, they show you love, and they help bolster your own confidence in your ability. I think that my experience with these groups has been absolutely priceless. Absolutely priceless. I don't know what I would have done without you.
I s- I know. I know it's we do have several people in our groups that aren't able to tell other people or talk to other people, and it's such a loneliness doing this by yourself.
Yeah.
um, with the groups, you're able to discuss this with like minds. And every now and then we get together just socially too, outside of groups, where we
Yeah.
talk about other stuff that really appeals to us or that we're really excited about or just to be friends. But during group, you have those, it does, it feels like family. It feels like family. You've got everybody supporting you and cheering you on, really. It's not like the way I'm saying it is coming across so sappy, but it's genuine. It's
You are sappy.
it's a genuine caring of wanting to see everybody succeed. Everybody in this group wants to see everybody else succeed. And and we make mistakes in group, but that's because we know we're just learning, you know?
It is a safe environment away from judgment. And that is the most valuable environment that I've ever been in this type of a situation. So I have a group called Rock Stars because everybody is really good. They are rock stars, each and every single one of them, and they are coming up so well and learning so much and teaching me things that I never
Yeah.
thought of. So that's what we do. We kind of bump ideas off each other, and there's a lot of Oh.
I
Ah.
never saw it that way until 35 years I've been reading cards and a new student will come in and I'll go, "Oh, dang, I never thought
Yeah.
of that." It's
Yeah.
exciting, but
It
the
is.
biggest thing is just having that community so that you don't have to be embarrassed of what you do, so you can get the practice. And if you cannot come out of that tarot closet, one big thing, don't be ashamed of who you are. Be ashamed of the community that surrounds you that that would judge you so harshly for something so beautiful.
Right. Right. And you know what? Even if you never come out of the closet, even if the only time you read the tarot is for yourself, if you feel the love of yourself, and I know that sounds a little sappy too, but if you feel it, then it's true. And this is a good tool for self love as well.
Yeah, it is. It really is. There are many, many. Oh my gosh, we should do a podcast on all the different uses of tarot. But one of them
Right?
is self-love, self-enlightenment,
Hmm.
knowing who you are.
Right.
So, and let me point out that if you are interested in the House of White, you can go to easytarotlessons.com and read all about us. The first month is $1, and after that, you it's $11 a week, and that first month you could be in groups. That first
Right.
month. So if you have any questions about coming out of the tarot closet, you let me and Robin know. We'll do whatever we can to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Absolutely. And, just as a bonus, should you choose not to join groups, you can still do a number of lessons for free.
that's right. That's right. And you've
Dusty's
got all the
crazy.
podcasts to listen to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Dusty gives stuff away all the frickin' time.
He does. I like my freebies.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Robin, for putting it all out there and letting us know how you did it. I find you so brave. I do. And I think that's the easiest way to do it. Just rip off the Band-Aid and find out it's just not so bad.
It's not so bad.
So, and I'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate you, Robin. Thanks.
Oh, you're very welcome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.